What's up everyone? My name's Tim and today I will be reacting to a video about Brazilian showers, why they use electric showers here in Brazil and why we use gas showers in the United States. On this channel I talk about cultural differences between Brazil and the United States. If you want to learn a little bit more, I also have private classes where I teach Portuguese and how to get acclimated to Brazilian culture. I'll leave that link in the description. Let's watch this video.
This is an American shower and this is a Brazilian shower. Notice any difference between them?
Yeah, one is metal, one is plastic, one is big, one is small.
At first glance, it might seem like just a design and material difference, but actually these are two completely different worlds. While the American one depends on gas to heat water through a centralized home system, the Brazilian one plugs straight.
That looks a little dangerous. I've definitely seen showers like that in Brazil, although most are not like that. Most are pretty safe, but it's something I've definitely noticed in Brazil, and I've always kind of been curious why this difference.
Into the wall and heats water right in the shower itself with just two wires and a heating element. Seems too simple, but it works, and it works so well that over 70% of Brazilian homes use electric showers every single day. But simplicity isn't the only reason Brazilians use this system. Actually, almost every country in the world adopted central heating, and Brazil went ahead and did something different.
So Brazil is an outlier here. I was kind of confused. I've definitely seen this in other parts of Latin America, but I've always been confused because in my house we always have, my house growing up, we have this room in the basement, the boiler room, which heats up the whole house. In my apartment here in Brazil, there is some electric thing where you plug into the wall that heats the water in the bathroom, in the shower.
It worked and became part of millions of people's daily routine. But why does only Brazil use electric showers? And how did it become part?
This is kind of a weird image to show.
Of their identity. To answer this, we need to go back to where it all started, in a small Brazilian workshop.
If I have to guess, I'm going to guess this is about Lorenzetti, because it seems like all the showers are Lorenzetti, and it's kind of interesting if they originally started with metal.
Are from the major innovation centers.
A Brazilian invention.
Everything started in 1920 in Jaú, countryside São Paulo, with engineer Francisco Canho. Back then, the main way to heat water was with wood burning. Countryside São Paulo with engineer Francisco Canho. Back then, the main way to heat water
I heard Cunningham, like my name. Okay, so back in the day, we actually had a power outage today and we couldn't get hot water because the people in front of the house, the telephone company, cut some wires and we didn't have hot water in the morning in the whole building. Interesting, in the past, they used to heat up water like this. A good movie, if you want to see how life was like in the countryside in the past, the day-to-day life, is like Water Like Chocolate. It's a Mexican movie. It's pretty good. It shows how they did the daily tasks in like the late 19th century.
And gas supply was scarce in Brazil. Francisco saw an opportunity to take advantage of Brazil's expanding electrical grid to heat water directly right where it's needed, instantly and practically. Before that, electric showers already existed.
Ooh, that looks scary. I would not want to take a shower there. It looks rusty and scary. Okay, so the idea was to heat the water exactly where it's needed instead of heating it in a boiler in another room. Okay, interesting.
They were dangerous, with nickel and chrome alloys, without any insulation and metal casings that offered real risk of shocks and burns. Francisco solved these problems. He created the first model with automatic activation and a safer system, which allowed the equipment to gain popular acceptance.
That looks a little bit like a submarine.
And be actually viable for home use. In the beginning, everything was quite artisanal, but soon found market space with the first industrial models. It was during the accelerated...
Look at the Brazilian houses in the back. This looks like an AI thing, an AI model, but that's very typical Brazilian colonial style with the red tiled roofs, the white, I guess, stucco houses. I don't know the exact material that they use.
Urbanization process in the early 1930s, that electric showers began spreading through Brazilian homes. As electricity reached more households, hot baths stopped being an elite privilege and became reality for common families. In the 1950s, the company Lorenzetti bought the invention's patent.
Okay, Lorenzetti bought the patent. Okay, I get it now.
And this was an important milestone for the product's popularization. from the 1960s onward, using plastic as showers manufactured.
Okay, now that's more typical. That's what I normally see. Plastic, I guess, came into widespread usage in the 50s and 60s. It's kind of interesting to study the history of plastic. I always like to study different materials and commodities and how they affected our daily lives. It's a good way to learn about history. Coffee, sugar, tea,
Manufacturing material made production costs
oil.
even cheaper. This not only made the equipment more accessible, but also safer, since plastics are natural insulators and corrosion resistant. Electric showers are so common.
Yeah, I feel much safer with plastic than with rusty metal.
In Brazilian routines that nobody seemed to care much, but it was precisely this
They call that thing in Brazil gambiarra, which is kind of like a MacGyver. Or sometimes they call, when they have a bunch of wires on the street, they call it a gato, a cat.
genius simplicity that made electric showers so efficient, practical, and popular.
That's another thing. They have that little thing where you twist and turn it, and it's different seasons. So like it's winter or summer, something like that. I've been in Brazil for about 8 years. I still don't really know how to use it.
Operating basis remains practically the same since the invention almost a century ago. So how exactly does it work? And if it's so simple, efficient, and practical, why doesn't the rest of the world use electric showers?
Only in Brazil.
The principle behind electric showers is simple but ingenious. The Joule effect. When electric current passes through a high-resistant conductor wire, usually a nickel-chrome spiral resistance, it heats up water passing through this wire, absorbs the heat, and comes out heated through the shower outlet. It's this instant heating that allows bathing to start within seconds.
When you take a shower in Brazil, you start to hear the like the heating sound. So I've never seen the electrical process behind that. I don't know much about electricity, so it's not really teaching me that much because I don't know that much, but I've heard the process many times.
Without needing reservoirs or boilers. Besides the automatic activation system, many models offer temperature adjustment between summer and winter, which alters resistance and consequently water heat. This
Adjustments between summer and winter, I never understood that part.
system, despite being simple, consumes quite a bit of energy, but only for short periods, which compensates in cost-benefit terms. Some showers even have a thermostat, where you can control water temperature even more. And despite the idea of combining water and electricity seeming strange, electric showers are indeed safe. Most accidents occur due to human failures in installation or maintenance, not equipment failure itself.
They do seem pretty safe like 90% of the time. It's just a few houses or Airbnbs that I've been in that I don't think the electrician really knew what they were doing.
Most of the world, bath water is heated by gas systems or boilers. In the first, heating happens instantly when water passes through a coil heated by gas. In boilers, water is heated in advance by gas, electricity, or solar.
Yeah, I had a boiler at my house growing up in the basement.
Solar energy and stored in a thermal reservoir, then distributed throughout the house. Both require more complex and costly infrastructure than the simple Brazilian electric shower. Brazil is practically the only country in the world where electric showers are most
So if it's so much cheaper, why doesn't everyone use it? I'm curious.
common. This happened due to a series of technical, economic, and climatic factors that align perfectly. Electric showers are the popularity champion in the country due to their installation ease and low acquisition cost. You don't need to break walls or hire specialized professionals. With a water pipe and an electrical outlet, the shower is working. Besides, climate helps a lot. In tropical climates like Brazil's, electric showers are still the best option in cost, benefit, and practicality. Since water rarely reaches very low temperatures in pipes, a super powerful system isn't necessary to guarantee hot baths.
Okay, that makes sense. Climate in New York in the winter, pipes freeze for sure. Is she gonna take a shower with her Apple Watch? Is that okay?
Residential structure also help. Many Brazilian houses are small with a single bathroom. Thus, the decentralized electric shower model
Another thing that's pretty common in the Northeast, I'm not sure about all of the United States, but in the Northeast we almost always have a tub. So we have a shower and a tub. In Brazil it's pretty rare to find a tub, bathtub.
with its individual resistance is ideal for this reality. There's no waste of hot water sitting in pipes like in gas or boiler systems. And finally, there's culture. Brazilians learn to shower with electric showers, adopted this technology as standard, and that's why it perpetuates. It's a classic example of simple innovation shaping an entire country's behavior. In countries like the UK and US, electric showers do exist, but are rarely used because they have low water flow and require lots of electrical power. They serve more as alternatives in secondary bathrooms. Performance is very limited in cold regions. Under these conditions, the device would need extremely high power to adequately heat water. Another fundamental point is the country's energy source. With a predominantly hydroelectric matrix, Brazil has relatively low generation costs, which historically favored electricity use for heating. Even though tariffs have increased in recent
Okay, cheaper electricity cost, mild weather, at least never cold weather. Okay, I get it. Why they would use it here and not in the United States or the UK.
Years, mainly due to charges and taxes, countries like Germany and Japan continue with higher final prices for residential consumers. Besides, there is a regulatory issue. In many European countries, legislation about electricity used in bathrooms is extremely rigid. The UK, for example, uses the system despite its rigid legislation. Although electric showers are associated almost exclusively with Brazil, they are also found in other tropical countries or those with limited infrastructure. Peru, for example, is the world's largest importer of these devices. Other Latin American countries like Bolivia, Guatemala, Ecuador, Colombia, and Mexico also use the model.
I've definitely seen them in Colombia.
In recent years, Brazilian companies like Lorenzetti and Fame have started selling more electric showers to African countries. In many of these places, electric showers have become the only affordable way to have hot baths. The main market is Kenya, which also helps bring the product to neighborhood countries like Uganda and Angola, even with some challenges such as different customs.
So Brazil is the leader in electric shower technology. That's good. Good to know.
Political crisis and copies made in China, Brazilian showers are spreading to places where other forms of heating water are too expensive or difficult to install. The reason is the same. In these countries, the climate favors it and electricity is more accessible than gas. But still, in many of these places, electric showers are not standard, but rather an alternative or niche option. In Brazil, it became the norm. Brazil is the only country in the world to use electric shower as standard. This exclusivity...
Where is he getting these B-roll shots of people taking showers? That's a little strange.
It has much to do with a combination of improvisation and adaptation to reality, a kind of innovation by improvisation that ended up working. And this has much to do with the Brazilian way of living. So, how did electric showers...
Brazilians take a lot of showers per day. At least 3, I would say. I'm at like 2.5 per day. How do you take a half a shower? Well, like, you know, over the week, it evens out.
...shape the culture of Brazil. This flip-flop on the bathroom floor says a lot about Brazilian bathing culture. It's not just about hygiene, it's about routine, comfort, and not getting an electric shock when turning on the shower.
What does the flip-flop on this floor say about Brazilian bathing culture? I'm curious.
This is because in older or poorly done installations, electrical grounding may be absent or poorly connected. Without a safety system, electrical current can pass through the shower structure or even through the water. So, stepping on the flip-flop solves the problem.
Oh, so the flip-flops are so you don't get electrocuted. I thought it was because you didn't want your feet to get dirty. That's interesting. You learn new things every day. Brazilians have a lot of rules about flip-flops. Like, oh, if you're walking around the house barefoot, you're going to get sick. I've never understood that. I've never gotten sick from walking barefoot.
There's more. In many houses, especially older ones or simple standard ones, it's common to avoid simultaneous use of 2 showers. This is because the energy consumption of a single shower is already high, and the house's electrical system doesn't always support 2 running at the same time.
We have the same rule in the United States. At least my house is an older house growing up, so yeah, you wouldn't want to even flush the toilet at the same time.
When this happens, the circuit breaker trips as a protection measure and the bath is interrupted. Culturally, hot baths became a comfort symbol for Brazilians. Unlike many countries where quick showers with warm water are the rule, in Brazil the custom is taking long, hot baths, sometimes even 2 or 3 times daily, especially on cold days or after long work days, the so-called premium bath. But electric shower impact goes beyond this comfort. It directly influenced city urbanization since it didn't require major construction works for installation. Simple houses in recently electrified neighborhoods began having hot water with minimal investment. This not only popularized hot baths, but also helped transform Brazilians' relationship with hygiene and daily practicality. Electric showers are more than functional.
Brazilians are known for their hygiene worldwide.
Inventions. They're a portrait of Brazilian creativity facing scarcity. Francisco Canho, with a simple solution, adapt.
Creativity facing scarcity. I think that's a good way to describe a lot of Brazilian inventions.
The 2 national reality managed to solve a common problem of the time with available resources. Innovation by improvisation, but which caused a revolution.
Innovation by improvisation is another good term.
In Brazil. And today, Brazilians live an almost ironic dilemma. With more expensive electricity, many began considering gas heaters as more efficient and modern alternatives.
Yeah, that's exactly what I have in my apartment over here. And you have to plug it into the wall. It's exactly that. That's the laundry room. It's pretty similar to my apartment.
Pumps, app control, and solar energy integration are gaining space. But simultaneously, cooking gas prices also keep rising, and this directly affects those who depend on gas daily. When it comes to household,
a lot of Brazilians also don't have a central gas system, so they buy what looks like propane tanks. I don't know if it's propane, but that's pretty common. You know how historically we had milkmen in the United States? They have people that drive around delivering gas door to door.
economics in Brazil, there aren't many solutions, just adaptation. Do you agree with me? What do you think about this electric shower system that became part of daily life in Brazil and even shaped the Brazilians' way of taking a shower? Leave a comment below and let me know.
What a great video. Elementar is definitely a cool channel, so if you ever want to check out more videos from them, I'll leave the link in the description. Peace.